The pandemic has been tough on all of us, so if you're looking for something fun and safe to do from the comfort of your own home, Harford County Parks and Recs has you covered. Now with hope on the horizon and things beginning to open up, lots of new programs are coming out, courtesy of Harford County Parks and Rec, something for everyone in your family to enjoy. I'm Christy Breslin. Join us in the next 30 minutes to hear all about it. This is Harford MagaScene. I'm with Kathy Burley. She is the director of Harford County Parks and Recreation. So many wonderful programs coming this summer, pretty much programs year round, but we're going to talk about the summer programs and of course the beautiful, beautiful venue that we're at today. Hi Kathy.
Hi Christy, how are you?
Great, thanks for being here.
My pleasure, thanks for coming out.
Well, Kathy, once again, we are thrilled to be with you, and what a beautiful venue that we're at. I haven't been here in years, so tell us about Swan Harbor Farm.
Swan Harbor Farm is truly a gem of Harford County Parks and Rec. Not everyone knows that it's Parks and Rec that operates the facility. It is a wedding facility, but it is also a park open to the public. We have trails, we have fishing here, we have a pavilion down by the water behind me. We also, as you come in, there's a pond that has a viewing area for birders, and we also have a model airplane club that meets out on the way in.
Now, I know you provide so many outdoor programs. Can you talk about the variety that you offer to our residents?
Our outdoor programs, we have a couple different things, and I'm going to stick to the things that might be free, which was a big hit when we got shut down due to COVID. And we have trails, of course, all over the county, and they were a big hit when all other fitness activities were shut down. We also have disc golf courses here in the county, which are free. So it's a really great way to get out with your friends, and you just have to bring a couple discs to play.
Well, everybody likes the word free. I like it. I know you like it.
Indeed.
Now, you mentioned COVID. How did COVID affect you? I mean, what impact did the COVID-19 shutdown have on Parks and Rec?
COVID was, with everyone else, was a huge kink in the road, and we had to figure out how we were still going to provide opportunities to the public. Though when everything else shut down, we were about the only thing left open for people to access physical activity as a family. There were no organized like sports and that type of thing, but our parks remained open. So in a way, there was a little benefit out of it that a lot more people figured out our parks and what was available out there that didn't realize was available. So we also were able to have some other programs. We developed At Home with Parks and Rec, which was an online, basically library of activities that if you're stuck at home with your kids, you can go, and it was everything from learning the basics of how to play lacrosse, doing a better baseball swing, to making pancake art, cooking lessons. And the fun thing about that is that's all there. It doesn't go away when COVID goes away. We have those for people to continue to access.
I mean, that's such an amazing program, and us all being stuck at home, of course, that's something that I imagine was very popular. A lot of new things on the horizon. We're seeing light at the end of the tunnel. Things are looking better. So let's talk about some of the new programs we have to look forward to.
We have added AED boxes, outdoor access AED boxes. They're also in our buildings, but these are outdoors. If you're in our parks or on our trails, and you call 911 for an emergency, if you're near one of those boxes and can utilize what's in them, which currently are automatic external defibrillators, stop the bleed kits, and personal protective gear, the 911 operator will direct you to there and give you a code to open those boxes, and then you can take that back out and render life-saving services to the person that's injured. So that's one awesome thing. We have that in 7 parks. We're hoping to get funded for another 10 in the next budget. We also have a playground that we recently opened this winter. It's the Alfred B. Hilton Park Playground, and it honors the county's only Medal of Honor recipient. He fought in the Civil War. And then finally, we purchased 350 acres. It's Bellevue Farms, which is actually contiguous to this property here at Swan Harbor. And with that property and a couple other in the surrounding areas, it means we have over 1,200 acres of land here that we're now looking to plan how we're going to use it for the community in the future.
Big win for Harford County. I know that. That is huge news. Now, I've lived here all my life, and there's so many parks to keep track of. It's hard to keep track of them all. So let's talk about the Emily Bayless Graham Park. What exactly is that one?
Okay, Emily Bayless Graham Park is another one that, even though it's been open over a year, it still feels new to me because COVID, we couldn't have a ribbon cutting for it. So people have just moved in and started using it, which we're happy about. It is a park that we added about 2 miles of trails to. It is located next to Festival between 24 and 924. It also has a sensory portion of the trail that individuals can go through and engage with it with their different senses. There's a pavilion out there, and it is very flat, so it's accessible to a lot of people.
Kathy, so much to keep track of. I mean, how do we keep track of what parks are open and what events are going on? How do we find all this out?
Well, we do have a Facebook page that we did launch over COVID as well. So that is the best place to find the most recent and up-to-date information. But then we also do have the Harford County webpage that can be accessed off of the Harford County government website.
Now, I have a question for you, and this is more for me and other people that are wondering. I thought all the programs were run by you. Is that not the case?
Right. We don't have that many staff that could possibly do the amazing things that are being done in all of our parks. We rely on 21 rec councils, which are separate 501c3 nonprofit entities that partner with us to provide what you think of as regular Parks and Rec activities, the leagues, your baseball, your softball, your lacrosse, those type of programs, your aerobics. They provide those. And we work with them to provide the facilities and make sure that they're in tip-top shape.
Now, I have to mention this. The Ma and Pa Trail, that is my absolute favorite. Let's talk about the connector. I know that's a big project in the works.
The connector, we're excited. The construction starts this week on the second segment. There are 3 segments, and we are excited to get that going. And then we hope that segment 3 will start in 2022.
Kathy, thank you so much for having us, and thank you for all that you do for Harford County.
It is truly my pleasure. Thanks for coming out.
Now, we have seen so much growth in these programs over the years. We're going to hear more about how they have grown and how do they cater to the disabilities community. All that straight ahead.
Slow things down and explore the timeless beauty of the Barn Quilt Trail of Harford County. Marked by hand-painted quilts, each location offers a unique adventure. Share new experiences and support local business as you discover rural Harford County, Maryland.
Come experience the culture and history of rural Maryland and take a trip on the Barn Quilt Trail of Harford County.
Rachel Kolash is with us now at the beautiful Swan Harbor Farm. She's here to tell us more about the recreation programs. She is the Recreation Specialist 3. Rachel, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you, Christy, for having me.
Now, Rachel, your title is Recreation Specialist 3. What exactly does that mean?
So I'm actually the Therapeutic Rec Specialist for the county, and I program and plan activities for individuals with disabilities throughout the county.
Now, Rachel, what is the Therapeutic Recreation Division?
Yep, so we are a part of the Department of Parks and Recreation, and we cater to the population of individuals with disabilities throughout the county. So we plan and program different activities for individuals regardless of their age or disability, and we do live programs, we do virtual programs.
Now, I know you have a wide variety of programs. Can you elaborate a little bit more on what some of those include?
Yeah, sure. So we offer daytime and evening programs. We have special events that we offer throughout the year. A couple special events that we've done in the past is the Beeping Easter Egg Hunt and the Sensory Santa workshop, which has been very, very fun. And then we also offer in-person programming, which includes different types of social, cognitive, and physical activities for the individual to really enjoy.
Now, what about eligibility? And are there fees involved for any of the programs that we want to sign up for?
Sure. So a lot of our programs are registration based, but anybody in the county that has any type of disability can sign up for any of our programs. We offer a variety of different types of programs. So we have sports, we have social games. So we really try to cater to as many of the individuals in the county as much as possible.
Now, moving forward, what do you have planned coming up?
So currently, right now, we are starting up our pickleball program again, which is geared towards individuals with Parkinson's disease. And then we also have the big walk, we have karaoke night, we have craft club, open gym, and then we're also still running our virtual cooking program. And then we also have summer camps that we're planning for children with disabilities.
Now, what are some of the new programs that you're offering? I know that the list is pretty long.
We're looking forward to starting up a Chair Chi program, and then we also are looking forward to starting up wheelchair sports.
Oh, wow. Tell me more about wheelchair sports. I mean, what kind of sports would be included in that?
Yep, so we are looking at providing some workshops and some opportunities for individuals to come out and play wheelchair basketball, possibly some wheelchair tennis. For the wheelchair tennis, we will be able to do it indoors and outdoors. And we just recently purchased some brand new sport wheelchairs, so then that way individuals in the county that might not have their own personal chair will have the opportunity to still participate.
Now, COVID-19, that's been difficult for all of us, and I know that it's been very difficult for you. So how have you managed running all these programs amid the pandemic?
Yeah, so it was very challenging in the beginning. However, we just thought very creatively, and we started to do a lot of different virtual programs. So we kind of transitioned some of our in-person programs to live virtual programming. So we've done bingo, we've done virtual dances for the individuals in the county, and then we've started some new programming like our virtual cooking class.
Wow. Now, are these variety of programs, are they open to people of all ages, or how does that work?
Yep, we try to cater our programs to groups so that way we could make them more age appropriate. So we'll have some programs that are geared towards younger kids and then some towards adults. But then like our virtual cooking program is 12 years old up through adulthood. So
now imagine the programs fill up pretty fast. So how can we get more information? Who do we contact? I mean, we definitely want to get involved in some of these things.
Yep, they can contact the Therapeutic Recreation Office by phone. I'm always available by email. And then we also have our Facebook page and our Instagram page that they can follow for updates.
Rachel, thank you so much for coming out today, and thank you for helping to provide all these wonderful programs for everybody here in Harford County.
Thank you.
Now, Rachel has told you about what specialties her programs provide, but what about esports? That's coming up next. Stay with us.
Maryland residents and visitors now have the option to text 911 if they are unable to place a phone call.
To send a text, enter 911 in the to line.
In your message, include the location of your emergency and the type of help needed.
Si el servicio de enviar mensajes de texto al 911 no está disponible o no es ofrecido en su área, usted recibirá un mensaje diciéndole que contacte al 911 por teléfono o por TTY.
911. Call if you can, text if you can't.
Matt Ryan is Recreation Specialist 1, and for all of you sports-crazed fanatics out there, this is the man that you want to hear from. Hi, Matt.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. All right, Matt, you're here to talk to us about sports. So what exactly is esports?
So esports it stands for electronic sports, and it's basically competitive video games. It's all of like team-based or single-player games, and it's tournaments, leagues, all of normal sports, but just all in a video game.
Oh, my kids would love that. Now, why is esports so popular?
So over the past couple years, the industry of esports has grown exponentially, and it still continues to grow, with a whole bunch of tournaments that are all streamed online for anyone to watch, and different professional video game players that are playing for everyone to watch through different streaming services. It has just become extremely big program as a whole, and for Parks and Rec, it's great for having kids start learning and getting into that aspect of and start competing locally and having fun and meeting everyone and meeting new people playing these different video games.
And I imagine with the COVID shutdown that esports just exploded. I'm sure everybody wanted to be involved. How did that impact you?
Yeah, so for our first tournament that we had over 34 participants join our tournament, and it was a big mixture of anyone between 7 years old and 17 years old, so it was great to get all those people into it.
Now, Matt, I know that video games are very popular among what you said, 7 to 14, but they're kind of popular for everyone. So is esports open to people of all ages?
So yeah, that's the great part about esports is it is one of the only competitive sports where anyone, any ability can really play games together. And right now we are running tournaments for 2 age groups, but we're looking to expand it into a third with like a 7 through about 13 and then 14 through 17. But then we're also definitely looking into doing 18 plus tournaments for anyone else who would be interested in playing.
Now, what kind of games does Harford County Esports offer?
So this program is fairly new. We just started over the last couple months, and so far we've only run a game called Rocket League, which is, yeah, so I'm guessing you heard of it. So
I love Rocket League!
Yeah, so it's basically soccer, but the person controls a car instead, and it's just a team-based game, and that's been a really big hit for us, and it's something that's great for us because it's called a cross-platform game, so it's accessible to anyone and everyone can play. It's a free-to-play game, and someone that's playing on the PlayStation can play with someone that's on Xbox or the computer. So it makes it really easy and accessible to play for everyone. And something that we're really looking into getting into playing is Fortnite, which is another very big game.
Yes.
And so that's something that everyone should be on the lookout for, with some big news coming up for that.
Matt, you are speaking my language. You are speaking my kids' language. This is really exciting stuff. Now, how do you get into esports?
So me personally, ever since I was growing up, I was always into video games. And since I was pretty much in high school, that's when I started kind of playing competitively. Not really into tournaments too much, but more just playing like online, like different kind of ranked games and whatnot online, getting a group of friends to play together and playing against other teams.
What does an esports tournament actually look like?
So right now, everything is held virtually. We have this app called Discord that you will get invited to if you're part of the tournament, and it's where everyone can kind of talk, exchange their usernames and everything with that, and talk about what games are going on and what games are playing. So that's the biggest thing. And then we have everything that is part of the tournament in there so people can see the schedules, results, and everything. But eventually we want to look into having something in person and having a bigger tournament in person. And it's just like any other sporting event, but it's just playing video games instead of basketball, tennis, or pickleball or something like that.
Now, what inspired you to bring esports to Parks and Rec? Did the idea come about just because of COVID, or is COVID what made it really popular?
Yeah, so that's one of the biggest reasons why when I was brought on, so I'm fairly new, and I was just brought on, one of my main projects was trying to figure out a program that we can have while everyone's in COVID and everything's kind of shut down. And my first thought was having esports because everything can be held virtually. And that was just a great thing for us to do, is because we can all hold everything online. Everyone can get together through the Discord app and talk, meet each other, and hold everything through that and play games. And it just worked out perfectly.
Matt, thank you so much. So much to look forward to, and I know all of our sports fans are going to be signing up left and right for this stuff.
Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Well, summer is upon us, so what programs do we have to look forward to? All that straight ahead.
Create your memories in beautiful Harford County, Maryland. Bring the family for a hike at Rock State Park. have a picnic and hear live music at the world-famous Ladue Topiary Gardens. Or take a run on the Ma and Pa Trail. Hi, I'm County Executive Barry Glassman, inviting you to visit Harford.
I'm now with Christy Garman, Recreation Specialist 5. Another Christy, but she spells hers with an E. I spell mine with a Y. Christy, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Christy, Recreation Specialist 5. I know there's a lot of different levels, but what is your level? What exactly do you specialize in?
So I work in the parks field, so I'm a park manager essentially.
Now let's talk about the Anita C. Light Estuary Center. What exactly is an estuary center?
So an estuary is a body of water where salt and fresh water mix. It's usually where rivers meet the sea. And the Chesapeake Bay is a huge estuary, the biggest one in the United States, or in second largest in the world. And we at Otter Point Creek at the Estuary Center are part of the Chesapeake Bay watershed and estuary.
Is the Estuary Center open to the public?
It is open to the public. I'm excited to say that it's open as of a few weeks ago without appointment.
Oh, that's great.
So we're back to being able to take drop-in visitors.
What kind of programs do you offer? I imagine quite a few. I've actually taken a look at your website.
Lots and lots of different programs for all ages, everything from tot-specific programs up to lecture series for adults, and everything in between. We like to take people outside as much as we possibly can. So we do a lot of different hikes, some down by the water. We do fish seining programs where visitors get to help us drag the seine net and pull fish in and examine what we get in the net and find out what's out there. Just a lot of boat programs. That's pretty much our specialty. We do canoe, kayak programs. We also have a pontoon boat. And of course the boat programs are in season, so that's typically from about the beginning of April until beginning of November.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. Now, does that include summer camps? Are there summer camps that involve all the boating?
It does. It does include summer camps. So for ages 8 to about 16. We have summer camps for 8 to 11-year-olds. The last day of camp is a canoe trip for each one of those. And then for the older kids, age 12 to 16, we do what we call travel camps, where we go to different sites throughout Harford County, including the Estuary Center, and use a different conveyance each day. Like we'll do canoes one day, kayaks one day. We even rent paddle boards on occasion.
Oh, wow.
And the pontoon boat as well, all in different locations around the county.
Now, what special events are held at the Estuary Center throughout the year?
Yeah, we have several. The next big one that's coming up is the Wade-In. It's the Wade-In Festival, and it's held the first Saturday of June. Last year was the first ever virtual Wade-In that we did. We're hoping to return to, and planning at this point to return to an in-person Wade-In with some COVID adjustments. But it's a festival that celebrates basically water quality and whether it's good or bad and, you know, what effects we have on it. But we make it into a fun kind of family event. And there's free boat rides, canoes, pontoon boats, all kinds of exhibitors and activities that families can participate in. Lots of educational exhibits as well from agencies around the county as well as vendors. So, like I said, first Saturday in June, we're excited about that coming back. It will be smaller in numbers because we're making accommodations for COVID, but excited to have people back. We are probably also going to do like a hybrid version. Last year when we did the virtual Wade-In, we actually had like 2,500 people who watched the actual Wade-In virtually, which is way more, of course, than we ever serve in person. We have parking for about a fifth of that, or far less, actually. So we'll probably do a combination. So some good things that have come out of COVID for our special events. And then after the Wade-In, we have a BioBlitz that we do in the summer in August where people can come out and we basically bring in scientists who try to identify as many things in their specialty as possible. So like there'll be somebody who's identifying reptiles and amphibians, somebody who's doing birding or shorebirds, somebody that's working on marsh plants, and the general public as well as volunteers help, catalog all that information and do identification. And it's about biodiversity, so celebrating as much diversity of living things as we can find in the park in a 24-hour period. They call it a 24-hour environmental treasure hunt. And then our third big one is our Halloween hike and campfire, which again last year we did not have, but I'm hoping this year that it's going to be back to its former glory. Great family event.
Now, Christy, you talked about volunteerism, and from all the events that you've told me about, you've had a good turnout, and virtually you've had a really big turnout. So, volunteers, I know you need them. Let's talk about that.
We cannot do anything that we do at the Estuary Center without volunteers. They help us with our boat programs. They help us with the school programs. They help us with keeping the campfire burning while we take a hike in the middle of a campfire program. We have volunteers who do some of our research and monitoring programs. It's community and citizen science programs. There's not much that we do that functions without the assistance of volunteers. So we absolutely love having them, constantly recruiting, training, and require volunteers.
Okay, so anybody that wants to volunteer, should we reach out to you?
Yes. Yep. And that would be site specific, so you should call the Estuary Center, and we'll get you hooked up. Got it, the volunteer application and interview and see what you want to do and what we need done, and we get everybody matched up.
Christy, thank you so much. Great to have someone like you on the team.
Thanks. It was a pleasure being here.
From sports to nature to spy programs to cooking, Harford County Parks and Recreation has something to fit everyone's individual needs. For more information on all that they have to offer, you can visit them on their website or any of their social media pages. I'm Christy Breslin. Thanks for joining us. See you next month on Harford MagaScene.